All right, so in one of my last videos, I talked about how we were just helping the client make the right choice on the flooring. So this is typically what a sample board looks like. That's a larger sample board. And then there'll be some smaller ones. Different suppliers have different ones. So these are from 12 Oaks. Nice size, right? Gives you a good idea. But what you'll notice is that even within that sample board, when you actually lay down the full boards, basically a box comes with about 7 boards in it. But there's a repeat, so there's not an unlimited number. There's basically, say, 7 separate boards in the line, but one box could actually have 4 of the same board. That happened to us on a project a couple Christmases ago, which right before Christmas, I think it was we got a box to put down on the client's house, on the floor for the client. And out of the 7 boards in the box, 6 of them were the same. And they all had this really heavy knot in it. It was not a great representation of what the floor was like. But you'll notice like each one of these has a different style. So Wetland Mist has a nice pattern, but doesn't have a lot of knots. And so there are the boards for it. Same thing over here. This Lemon Tree, this has a little bit more dark to it. So, you know, when you start laying it out in a larger, and also too, sorry, the other thing I should mention is that boards are different dimensions. So some are 6 inches wide by say 4 feet or 5 feet. They could be 7 inches by 5 feet or 8 by 4 or 5, like whatever. And then they all have a different look. They also have a different like bevel on the edge. And so all those things affect a floor when it goes down. Now the thing to remember is that when your floor goes down, it's not like a basketball court where it's like this massive expanse of the same product. When you start when you get it in, and then you get the furniture in, and so you have like carpets and couches and things like that, you don't see it as much, right? It's gonna get blocked. Like in a bedroom, for example, you know, you're gonna have flooring in here, but then you're gonna have a bed and a side table and maybe like a carpet and things like that, or dressers. And so that's gonna all start to basically block the floor that you put down. So it's easy to get overwhelmed in the selection process because you think, oh my God, we got to make this totally right. But there's also the ability when the flooring guys or when the installers are actually putting the floor in, we can make some modifications. Like we did an engineered floor in a project in the northwest of Calgary 2 years ago, where client paid a lot of money for a really nice product, but there's grades. So there's like A, B, C, D. And the further kind of down you go, the more knots you get. But what we were able to do, and what design and Michelle was able to do, is go like, okay, we saved him a bunch of money by going with a separate grade. But then what we did was we paid our installers just a little bit to sort through the boards. And all the boards that had knots in them, that had this kind of darker knot that it wasn't great, we made sure that went in places like under the dining room table, under the piano, the carpet in the living room, the couch. Like we knew where the furniture was going, so we could hide the percentage of boards that were not necessarily of the highest grade in those areas, so that in the open areas, the floor looked great. And those are just some design decisions that, you know, if your contractor doesn't understand that, then you're gonna get stuck with stuff. And we don't want that for you. So again, that's a quality versus schedule thing. Let's take the time. Let's take the time to do things right. And I can throw my installers some money and say, hey, listen, just take the time to sort through these and let's do it right. And the client was ecstatic. Like just once it was all done, client was just ecstatic. So yeah, I was pretty happy about that.